Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna share something very personal and important. My journey from preparing for AMC Part 1 exam all the way to getting general registration as a doctor in Australia. So if you're an IMG who is preparing for this pathway or who has already started the process, I hope this timeline gives you a realistic picture. If you are new to my channel, subscribe and get notified because I share tips and insights from real world experiences. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start from starting to study for AMC Part 1. Going back to 2023, January 2023, I decided I'm going to start the AMC process. And then February, I started studying. I did not know where to start from. I researched, watched a couple of videos on YouTube. What is this exam about? And I connected with a couple of friends who have already started studying for the exam and then started reading. But I did not book the exam straight away. By about April, I was confident. I think it's time to book the exam. So I was aiming for August. I know it's a pretty long time, but then it's been quite a while since I've studied. So I thought I'll probably take a few months, like do it leisurely. I was not in a rush. So I wanted to get a date for August, but I ended up booking the exam in September. I remember it was the 7th of September, and I thought the exam went all right, but you never know until the results come. So I thought, let's see how it goes. And then, it takes about 3 or 4 weeks for the results to come out. In the meantime, I connected with one of my very good friends who has already finished AMC1 and who was looking for jobs in Australia. And one advice she gave me was, while you wait for the results to come, why don't you do the PTE? So that once the results come, you can start applying for jobs straight away. But then I was like, what if I fail? And then she's like, yeah, but it still, the PT is valid for 2 years, so you don't have to waste time. So I think I prepared for the PTE. I took about, I think, like a week or so and then prepared for the PTE. And I still remember results were supposed to come on the 5th of October, and I gave my PTE on the 4th. And then by the 5th, when results came, my PT was done, and then the MC results came. And then I thought, okay, let's start applying for jobs straight away. Okay, so next started the job application process. The interesting thing is, until you do your AMC1, you feel like that's the hardest. But then you get your results and then you start applying for jobs. That feels like the toughest. So the good thing that happened to me was I connected with two of my very close friends who have just finished AMC1 and who have just started the job application process. So what we three did was we kind of created a group and we did this together. Believe it or not, we haven't even started applying for jobs, but we had like group discussions like once in 3 days or so, going through like random questions, like what kind of questions they would ask for interviews and what kind of answers do they expect. So this is even before we actually started applying for jobs properly. And then by the time we started applying, there were no campaigns opened. So we just randomly Googled like junior doctor vacancies in Australia and then applied through Seek and Indeed, like whatever vacancies we could find, we would just apply. And then I think mid or late October, the New South Wales campaign opened. And we created like a spreadsheet and shared among each other. And one of us would daily update this spreadsheet as to whatever the vacancies that the campaign has put. And we will, like, as soon as there's a new vacancy in the New South Wales campaign, we would apply for that. So we kept track and we applied for almost all the vacancies as possible. And we actually applied for the same positions. But I did apply for pediatric positions as well because I had the exposure and I was okay to even get a pediatric job. So this went on, And then I think like first or second week of November, I got called for an interview from one of the hospitals in New South Wales. And then 2 weeks after, I got another interview from one of the hospitals in Queensland. I would say, like, I prepared for these interviews like I would prepare for an exam. We practiced so much, like the questions, the clinical questions, the ethical questions, practiced so much. And then the interesting thing is, both of my friends that applied for the jobs with me, they also got called for interviews from two different hospitals in New South Wales. And then actually November was a good month for us. So we applied, we got called for interviews, and believe it or not, by late November or first week of December, I got a job offer. I actually got two job offers from both the hospitals that I interviewed. And then both of my friends who also did the interviews, they got job offers as well, like in the first week of December. So I accepted the offer from Queensland, and then they obviously accepted the offers that they got. So by December, three of us got job offers, and we were definitely very happy. But what I need you, what I need to tell you guys is that it's about how you do it. So, like I have said in my other videos, please do it actively. Keep track about the jobs that you're applying for, and always make sure that you're doing it the right way. And then, if so, you will definitely be able to secure a job. And then I started the process of applying for limited registration. Oh, so much paperwork. And it was bad timing because it was December and Christmas and New Year, and that's the time that everyone takes leave. So it took, I would say, like I applied for limited registration probably, I think maybe mid December. And then I got my registration on the 31st of January. It took so long. And there were a few delays as well with the documents, with the certification, and all that. So, with all that, I got the registration on the 31st of January. So, we obviously waited for the registration to come back to apply for the visa. And then the visa process started, and that took some time as well. So, all that took like till end of February. And then, even though I was supposed to start working end of January, I was not able to do that with the delays in the registration and also in the visa process. But these hospitals are very flexible, and they do understand, like whoever is coming from offshore, they do understand there are delays like this, and they do accept delays like this. And they always say that we can start as soon as we move there. So, like that, I started working in February. My first day was the 26th of February in 2024. So I started working in a hospital where there was no work-based assessment. So I knew eventually I have to sit for my AMC clinical, but I didn't want to rush. My aim was to get used to the Australian healthcare system because it's definitely a very big change. It was all new, so I didn't want to rush doing the AMC clinical. I thought I'll take my time, get used to this. There was so much of new things that I had to get used to, that I have to get adjusted myself, my family. So it was a big move. Obviously, moving from another country, you're gonna do a new job. So I wanted to be kind to myself, and I wanted to take time to get used to everything. So started working in February, and then but my aim was actually to do the AMC clinical within that year. And then I think I thought I'll try to get a date for November, but Obviously, I was unsuccessful, as you know, if you have watched my AMC Clinical video. But then I was able to secure a date for March 2025. And then I did my AMC Clinical in March. So the preparation time was about, I think I actively started preparing probably from September. So roughly about 5 months, I think. So I prepared for the AMC Clinical and did it in March 2025. So got the results 4 weeks after. And then by that time, I have already finished my 47 weeks for all the rotations in general surgery, general medicine, and ED. The 47 weeks that was required for general registration. So by the time my AMC clinical results came, I only had to apply for general registration as I have finished my 47 weeks of supervised practice. So 4 weeks after the AMC clinical, the results came. And then I think by end of April, I submitted the documents required for the general registration. And then exactly in 1 month, end of May 2025, I got the email that my general registration was granted. So months of hard work, months of waiting, applications. So everything was paid off in May 2025. So I started my journey 2023 February, and by May 2025, I was able to get general registration as a doctor in Australia. So is there anything that I would have done differently in this journey? So when I look back, what I feel is I didn't have to study so much for my AMC 1 because I think I studied for almost 7 months, and I think that's quite a lot for AMC 1. But looking back, like at that time, I haven't studied for a long time, so I thought I would be, kind to myself and not rush. So that's probably why I took that long. But if you're someone who is just out of medical school or you're in touch, I think it's actually it's all right to maybe do it in, like, I would say 3 to 4 months, but it always depends on your circumstances. And then what are the good things, or I would say, what are the good things that happened to me during this journey? I would say the two friends who were with me, because that group we created when we started applying for jobs really kept me going, and we were always motivated because, like I said, we were doing it regularly, and there was actually like always one of us who would always motivate the other two to keep doing. If one feels like, I'm not going to do anything, like I'm not going to apply for jobs today, but we're like, no, you have to do it. Like, if your end goal is to find a job in Australia, you just got to do it. So I would say I was really blessed to have that group because it really kept me going, and it we kind of inspired each other. So if you have friends like that who you can connect with in this journey, I would say that would be very helpful, like mentally. And also my advice is, if you're an IMG on this pathway, be consistent and always have hope. I know there can be very exhausting times when you feel like you just want to give up, but don't give up. Everyone has a different story and everyone has a different timeline. So, this is my timeline, and it's definitely not the same for everyone, but be consistent and be motivated. Find at least one or two friends who are on the same journey so that you guys can work together for this, and always seek help. Don't think you know what you're doing. Always think there's always something else that you have to learn. I learned a lot through my friends. Honestly, believe me, when I started applying for jobs, I didn't even know the positions that I can apply for. Like, I thought it's just going to be like resident jobs, like RMO jobs. But then my friends like, no, like with the postgraduate experience we have, we can also apply for registrar jobs. So that's why I say, like, connect with people who are in this journey so that they can help you get along with whatever you're doing. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments so that I can address whatever the questions you guys have. And you can always reach out to me on drminspires@gmail.com if you have any questions, and I'm very happy to help. And also subscribe and like, and I will bring more information and more real life experiences like this. And till I see you guys in my next video, take care of yourselves. Goodbye.